Hospital porters, pride and dignity. Stop the New World Order. Welcome to Hapanwo TV. Right, well, it appears that I'm a bit blurry. I'm sorry about that. I don't know why that is. It's let me just sit back a little bit. Oh. Is that better? No. Sorry, you don't need glasses. It's just me. Anyway, I'm going to better get on with this because I've got to get it in less than 15 minutes. I'll explain why in a minute. Anyway, I thought I'd just tell you a little bit more about the situation regarding this accusation against me, which I describe in the video interlude Colonel Holt video removed, which is, there's a link in the description box to that. I think maybe I should talk a little bit more about that. Now, as I explained in the first video, somebody who was featured in that video has taken out a copyright violation complaint against me and has flagged the video. The video has been removed by YouTube. I'm now going through a situation with that in terms of putting in a counterclaim because I don't believe their claim is valid. Now, I'll talk a little bit more about this because this person, as I said before, has an ulterior motive. Their ulterior motive is that they don't like Larry Warren, and that I defended Larry Warren in the video. And so what they have done is that's the real reason they wanted the video removed. It was basically because of that. This person, the reason so that means that I don't take this person's claim, or this person's, I'll call him the claimant's criticism of me in terms of, and they're upset that their supposed copyright loss seriously. And there's several different reasons for this I'll go into as well. Firstly, UFO conferences, conspiracy, paranormal UFO conferences. Now, if you've been to a few of those, you will know that there's a certain etiquette. Okay, there's a certain etiquette, and that is copyright is an issue there, but it's dealt with in a particular way which is mutually agreed on by everyone within our community. And every single UFO conference, paranormal conference, conspiracy conference I've been to, it's done the same way. If there is an official camera crew there making a commercial production, or even a non-commercial production privately, then everyone knows they shouldn't be filming, and very often the MC will ask people not to film. And sometimes people do film and they're asked to stop. That's the way it's done. That's the way it's done everywhere. You can't just suddenly, I think it's morally improper, and it's a breach of our etiquette within the conspiracy UFO paranormal community to suddenly decide you're going to work to rule, you know, afterwards. And this is one of the reasons why I think the claimant's claim is bogus, and that they have an ulterior motive. Basically, at the conference, I was asked to attend the Colonel Holt Returns to Rendlesham conference. I was asked to attend. It was a working event. I was brought along. I was paid my expenses, nothing more. And I was asked to produce a movie about the conference by the organiser John Hanson. He asked me to do that. I said yes, I would. John knows me, he knows my work. He was actually, it's because of the other things I've done, for instance the Dr. Jonathan Reed event and the previous Rendlesham Forest film I made, is the reason why he decided I'd be a good person for that. So I did. There was never any doubt I was going to produce the film my usual way, by uploading it to the Ben the J.R. Porter YouTube channel. Now, nobody at any point told me not to film, even though it's very obvious I was filming. I was sitting in front of the audience. I wasn't actually in the audience. I was sitting in the corner in front of the audience on a chair pushed forward with a camera with a tripod, with the mains lead extending to a plug. And John never ever withheld the fact that I was making an official film. John and I were actually approached by several commercial film producers asking us, you know, don't upload this, don't put this on the YouTube channel, you know, don't we'll do a commercial DVD of this. Come on, let's get Colonel Holt mic'd up, do proper sound recording, things like that. And we said no, and me and John talked about this between ourselves. Now, while I was filming, other people had their cameras out and they were filming, and you can actually see it on the video. I think in some of the shots you can see people with their camcorders out filming the proceedings. Now, Again, I mean, this has often happened at other Rendlesham Forest UFO conferences. At the 2010 30th anniversary one, everyone was out filming, and there's several different there's several different versions of that event actually online, and this is how we've always operated. So now suddenly, after all that, after this person, the claimant, and everybody else, all the other guests, understand this, the claimant has suddenly turned to me and said, "You breached my copyright." It's utter nonsense. He's backfilling his objection. Now, another reason I think is because this person has actually, according to some friends of mine, they have received angry letters and messages from this person as well, from the claimant as well, people connected closely to Larry Warren. See, the problem is we're getting into internal politics of the Rendlesham Forest Conference, the Rendlesham Forest community. That is, the various witnesses do not agree. There are discrepancies between, say, Colonel Holt's version of events, as you heard in the video, if you saw the video, and Larry Warren's, and John Burroughs, Jim Peniston's, and several other people's. Some of the British civilians have their own story to tell, and these don't always tally up. And so there's some conflict in there between those different people. And I have my own opinions on that internal political. I take a position within that internal politics, and I have said so in the video, and I'm entitled to do that. Now, this claimant has said some ridiculous things. Frankly, it's insane. He said, for instance, when he contacted me, he said that the way I've treated him is exactly the same as if I'd taken a copy of Nick Pope's new book, I'd reeled off some PDFs of it and started giving them out to people. This is utterly slanderous nonsense. It's a completely false analogy, and he knows it. It would be a correct analogy if the claimant had been producing his own. Say, for instance, there was a commercial camera crew there, and the claimant was producing his own commercial video of his lecture, but he was not. He was appearing at a conference completely freely in front of an audience who were all me. There was me doing the official filming, and there was everyone else with their camcorders out. He knew the score. He was well aware of it. So that's a reason why this is why I don't accept his version of events. And the idea that it's somehow to denounce me as some kind of video pirate is frankly it's a defamation of my character. Yeah. Oh. This is what he said in this video, in these private messages you sent me. He also said some other things which reveal his ulterior motive. For instance, he said things like, I'm paraphrasing now. Oh, I abused my position. I fooled John Hanson. I abused my position to get into a position to get close to Colonel Holt, so I could smear him. All right, he said something like that. Ludicrous. John Hanson knows exactly what I think about Larry Warren. He's listened to my radio show. I've had Larry Warren and Peter Robbins on. I've had Larry Warren. I've had John Hanson on my radio show too. All right, he's been on there too. So please, if you check out the Hapanmo Radio blog, you'll find all those radio shows on there. I'm not going to post links in the description box. You can find them yourself. John knew what I thought. He also trusted me to be professional. He also knew that I would produce a proper film which was balanced and informative and not free of rhetoric and propaganda, and I believe I did that. I believe I honoured that, and John, who's seen the film, said so himself. So this person is impugning my integrity as a filmmaker. This claimant, he's impugning my integrity as a filmmaker. It's completely wrong. I treated Colonel Holt with the utmost of respect. The only thing I got wrong was his rank at retirement. I called him Lieutenant Colonel. He was Lieutenant Colonel in 1980. He was made up to full Colonel before he retired. So apologies, Colonel. That's the only thing I apologise for, nothing else. Now, well, this, as I said in the previous film, has led to a strike against my account in terms of copyright, which will last until the 12th of January. Now, I found out the full consequences of that. I've just found out. They are more severe than I thought at the time. My channel is now restricted I cannot upload any video longer than 15 minutes, and this recording is going to have to be under 15 minutes for the duration of that, for this strike for 6 months. That is unless my counterclaim is sustained. If it is not sustained, then the strike will stay. This means that I can't really effectively upload a new version of the Colonel Holt movie, because I'd have to put it all in little bits, which looks stupid, put it in little 15-minute chunks, especially since YouTube did away with video responses. I don't want to do that. I want to put it up in its entirety, because you can't watch it properly without video responses if you can do it in little chunks. So I'll do that. However, I will be distributing copies of the film. Now, some people have commented in the box on the previous video that you regretted that you didn't get the chance to see the film yourself. I'm sorry about that. I know. I'm sorry about that. I will try to find ways of distributing the film to you. Okay, sharing it free of charge. Okay, free of charge. Is a non-commercial venture, as I always said it was. It's another reason why the claimant cannot have a go at me for breaching his copyright. And it's what's sad is that the anti-copyright laws, Digital Millennium Copyright Act, and these other copyright protection acts, they were never intended for this purpose. They were never intended to be used by people to settle personal scores. And somebody on the previous video said it very, very well indeed. They put it very well indeed. They say it's getting to the point now where these DMCA attacks are just so common that it's almost impossible to avoid them. I mean, I've made an effort on my channel to avoid this. All my stuff is Creative Commons, or like the music I use for the videos and things like that. It's all very clearly. I go to a special website to pick it up where it's Creative Commons. All right, all the photos are all like public domain. All the stills I use. It's just because if you don't do that, someone who doesn't like you or disagrees with what you said will try and use it. They'll abuse this law. They'll take this law, which was intended for a perfectly legitimate purpose, to protect intellectual property, and they'll use it to silence you. They'll use it to shut you down. The question is, I mean, people have said to me, I'm running out of time now. Should I have just complied with what the claimant wanted originally when he messaged me privately? Should I have just removed the video? Surely I could have just taken it down and be done with it. Because then if I'd taken it down, I could have then re-edited it up and re-uploaded it, and I wouldn't get this strike against my account. Well, as I said in the previous video, I didn't, because I believe I acted correctly. I believe I'm in the right. I believed I acted ethically. I have not breached his copyright. And secondly, as I said, he was very aggressive towards me, and he tried to threaten me with legal action and things like that, something he may well still do, in which case I'm ready for that. And this is why I think more pragmatic people will say I made a mistake. I mean, if you're pragmatic, you'll say, well, you should have been a bit more strategic about it, Ben. But I believe I'm much more of an idealist than a pragmatist, I must say. And I think that behaviour like this has to be challenged. And I'm going to say something. I think that most hospital porters will understand this. And if you're not a hospital porter, I think you still may well understand this. And that is that resistance against violent or verbally violent behaviour, or intimidating behaviour rather. Resistance against intimidating behaviour is a victory in itself. In itself, you do not lose, and you cannot be defeated until you submit. However this case turns out in the long run, ideally it would be nice if YouTube sustained my counterclaim. If they don't, obviously the strike will remain and the video will remain offline until January or whatever. I'll distribute it privately. If they do, then the video goes back up, and the claimant has the option of taking out a private lawsuit against me, which he may well opt to do, in which case that's his decision. I'm going to stick by my guns. I'm not going to back down. I believe I'm in the right. I believe I acted correctly, and that I think it should be reason enough for me to say no, to turn around and say no. And I don't need a better reason than that. I don't need to think strategically and pragmatically. Okay, so okay, running out of time now, so there'll be more. I'll give you another update as and when information comes my way. Hospital porters, pride and dignity, stop the New World Order.